Hey, what's up guys, how's it going? So, the Game Boy Advance. Now, this little gem released on June 11th, 2001, and this, in a way, changed portable gaming. I would say it did that for two reasons. Number one, that was the last handheld in the long line of Game Boys. I mean, on the technical side, the Game Boy Advance is just a portable Super Nintendo. And same thing with the Game Boy Color, that's just a portable NES but in color, and the original Game Boy is just a portable NES just without color, and you get what I'm saying. But this, in a way, was the last hurrah of the Game Boy lineup. But then came the DS, but that's a whole separate video. But overall, what I want to do today is just talk a little bit about the system. I want to talk about the games, I want to talk about the collectability of the Game Boy Advance, and call it a day. If you guys are okay with that, stick around. But yeah, enough bullshit. Let's get started.
Speed of F-Zero. The horror of Castlevania. The moves of Tony Hawk 2, now on Game Boy Advance. Rated everyone to teen.
Now, the first thing that I want to talk about when it comes to the Game Boy Advance is, of course, the games. There's a wide variety of games on the Game Boy. Everything from, of course, first-party Nintendo to Sega to fucking Rockstar Games. And technically, I'm definitely stretching this, but technically, the Game Boy Advance could handle 3D. Of course, not really, but some games do push the system a little bit. But besides that, the Game Boy Advance also had a lot of shitty movie tie-in games. What I'm trying to say is you have a large game library on the Game Boy Advance. I mean, you got everything from RPGs, pseudo 3D, you got your platformers, you got your kart racers, you have a little bit of everything. And this is something that really gets underappreciated on the Game Boy, because, I mean, most people think of the Game Boy, think of the, popular stuff like the Mario series and this and that, but there's a lot more. But then again, I could also see why people appreciated the popular stuff, because there's only, so much you could do on the little Game Boy Advance. Now, another aspect that I would like to bring up about the Game Boy Advance is the amount of colors that this thing has. I mean, you have orange, white, purple, red, clear, blue, clear, and don't even get me started with the Game Boy Advance SP. Now, in terms of collectability, the Game Boy Advance is still really cheap to collect for. Unless you're going for complete unboxed stuff, then that's a whole different ballgame. But still, for the most part, I would recommend getting a Game Boy Advance if you can find one for a reasonable price. Whether it's the Fat Boy or the SP, you can't go wrong. And I mean, for the most part, the Game Boy Advance is just still good to have around from time to time. Like, just to have that thing sitting on your desk and you're bored or you're waiting for like a meeting or an email or something, just play some Mario for a few minutes or play some Max Payne or Jet Set Radio or whatever. What I'm saying is it's still, useful to have a Game Boy Advance lying around in 2022. I mean, it's a little piece of nostalgia. It still has a bunch of great games, you can't go wrong. But anyway though, ladies and gents, if you want to subscribe, do whatever you want to do, Naresh, and tell me down below what was your favorite Game Boy Advance game. Tell me down in the comments, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.
What is the solution then? How do you tackle this?